please introduce Jordan Vichot and the title of his speech, New Ideas Are Just a Drive Away.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, friends, guests, academics. Thank you very much for being here with us this evening. I'm very excited to be here tonight because I have a very special story that I'd like to share with you. So I'd like for you all to just sit back, relax, and enjoy what I have to say this evening. You see, I want to tell you about a trip that I just recently took about 2 weeks ago. I went to our nation's capital, the beautiful Washington, D.C. I was visiting a good friend of mine, and I had a couple of experiences, one in particular, that led me to this new idea. Something that I probably will never forget. Not for any reason, but just for the way that I experienced it. My trip really started in no particularly, interesting way. Our flight landed in Washington, D.C., making the weird maneuvers that it makes as it tries to go around the nation's capital and try to avoid all of the important buildings. We arrived at the airport. We get out of the airport and we're there standing in front of a street outside of JFK, or Ronald Reagan, sorry. And my friend and I are looking in front of us and we have 5 or 6 taxi cabs. The probabilities of getting inside of each of these taxi cabs are equal. We could get inside of each one of them. So we decided to get inside of the one that was right in front of us. My friend and I sit down, and as we sit down, I just sit there and I look at the driver, and now let me paint a picture for you. My friend is about 6'2" with a beard that comes down to here. He's intimidating. My driver was twice as intimidating as him. Sitting in his chair, half leaned back, the leather ripping on the side. The drive just felt interesting. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I like to engage in conversation with people, especially people that I've never met before. Ladies and gentlemen, that was not the case here. This driver mumbled all but 3 words. Where should I take you to? That's like 5 words. So we gave him the address of our place and he took us. The drive just felt interesting. I didn't feel at home inside of the back of that taxi cab. We proceeded with our trip just as planned. We saw all the monuments. DC really is a beautiful place. We rode the metro system. I even rented a bike one day and I rode about 17.5 miles around the city. It was a great experience. So, we're there this afternoon and we had just come back from a day of long adventures, and my friends and I are sitting at the bar and we're inside of the Old Debit Grill. And if you know anything about DC, you know that Old Debit Grill is just the place that you have to go to. So I'm there sitting, having a beer that I cannot even pronounce the name to. It's so foreign to me. So we're there sitting and boom, we get this bright idea to visit Georgetown. Georgetown? How are we gonna get there? We're gonna drive, we don't have a car, we're gonna walk, it's like 14 miles away. My friend looks at me and he goes, I'll just call an Uber. I look at him with this strange and confused face. You're gonna call a what? I'm gonna call an Uber. My friend, living like a local, he's been living there for about a month, he uses Uber. Now, how many of you have heard of Uber in this room? I see some hands go up. For those of you who don't know, Uber is simple. It's a ride-sharing service. It's like a taxi cab company, but with a more exclusive feel. You see, this is the way it works. You download the application on your phone. For those of you marketing people, you download the application on your phone. You set a pickup location, and an Uber driver on the other end receives the call. He then proceeds to acknowledge that he's going to pick you up, and that's it. You have a connection. The person comes, they pick you up, and they take you to your destination. Now, put into perspective what I just said, and imagine how I felt when I sat in the back of that Uber car. So let me continue with my story. The driver pulls up. My friend's name is Justin. The driver lowers his window. He goes, Justin? My friend says in his very excited and high-pitched voice, yes! Your ride is here. So we proceed and we get inside of the back of the car. I couldn't help but compare that instance to my taxi cab ride. That drive felt warm. It felt fuzzy. It just felt right. The Uber driver engaged in conversation with us. He wanted to talk to us. On the other end, he knew that we were going to leave him a review when we were done, but that was just part of the process. When I was done, when we got there, I had no need to handle cash. My friend's phone had his credit card connected to the Uber application. It then charges him for the fare. It's less expensive than a taxi cab, but it just works that way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, why am I telling you this tonight? You're probably wondering that right now. If it wasn't for my trip to DC, I would have never experienced that. Living here in Miami, I have a car. If I want to get somewhere, I just get in my car and I drive. If I want to go, I'll probably carpool with somebody else. Living here would have never exposed me to the opportunity of getting an Uber. When I first heard the term Uber, I had no idea what it meant. But now that I've lived it, I know exactly what it is. I like to read the works of Warren Buffett, his right-hand man, Charlie Munger, Donald Trump, a lot of famous, important business people. And a lot of these people all tell you one thing. If I'm going to invest in a company, I'm going to go and I'm going to see it firsthand. They go and they see these things. They live them. They talk to management. Hi, how are you? They speak to the people. They look around. They look at the floors. They look at the walls or the different things like that. My trip to DC exposed me to that. So that's why I'm here today. I'm not here today to tell you anything particularly interesting about my trip to DC, but I just want to let you know that sometimes in life we have to step out and we have to go and see things firsthand. If somebody tells you about an experience that they had, don't believe it. Just go see it for yourself. If there's something that you're particularly interested in, something you want to find more information about, don't just read about it. Yeah, read about it, but go see it on your own. I promise you, trust me, my trip to DC exposed me to a new idea. I realized that sometimes new ideas really are just a drive away. Thank you.
Let's give another round of applause to Jordan. Great speech, Jordan. I gotta go to DC. I've never been there. I gotta travel all around the world. I've never seen snow.